We're going to be looking at Audra Hibbs, and we're going to start by logging in. And to log in, you'll go to audrahibbs.com/wp-login, where you'll put in your username and the password that we've given you, and we'll log in here. And once we get here, this is where everything is that will control what your site looks like. The things on this area here on the right side, you don't really need to worry about. That's not where the stuff is that controls your site so much as right here. So we'll just kind of go down the line here, and these are the things that you need to be thinking about. So we'll start with updates. And when you look at these, this is plugins and different things that are used throughout the site. And you're welcome to update them if you want to update the plugins. I'm not going to do that right now, but we do that for you. That's part of what Megaphone offers. So we go in every 2 to 3 weeks, twice monthly, and update those for you. So that's not something that you have to worry about, but you can if you want. Posts. For this site, this is one of the most important things because you're using posts regularly. So this is something that you'll use often. And so we'll just go ahead and make a new post, and we'll start here. You would enter a title, whatever you want to call your blog post, and then your content would go here. Your content would go down here. So this kind of works like any word processing that you've used before. It's just going to work like if you want to bold this or italicize it, you can do any of those things. If you want to change the size and the way it looks, that's going to make a big heading, but you don't necessarily need that because you've got the heading here. The title is going to be the heading, but you can also play around with it. So you can preview it over here, and then you would see here's how it would look. So then go back and we'll say, okay, I just want that to be regular sized, but I want it to be underlined, or if you want to add a bulleted list of things or a numbered list, things like that. You can also hyperlink, so you can link to an outside site if you want to. So then whenever that shows up, that's going to show up as a hyperlink. But you can also link to any of the pages or previous blog posts that you have, and then you would just you could click here, and then that would become a hyperlink. So you can use that. And then over here on the right, you've got categories. And so depending on how you want to categorize your post or what category you're going to want to put it in, you just check those. You can always add new categories and put them under a new parent category, so they would fall under book review and then maybe a specific book if you're going to do multiple, or however it could go underneath one of these already existing categories. You can also use tags. These are how your blog post can be found on the web, so you can or things will come up. You can click on them and then add those to the post. And then you can set a featured image. That's going to be what comes up at the top. So you can either upload a file and go grab a picture that you've downloaded from a stock site or something that you're using, and then drop it in here. Or you can choose something that you already have here. Set this as your featured image. And then you can crop it. It's not letting me do that right now, but let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and publish this just for the sake of further showing you some more things. So then we can preview the changes. And you've got the title here, and you've got your featured image up here, and it's filed under these different categories and tagged with this, and then this is where your content would be. So let's go back here, and then over here on all posts, I can look at all my posts that I have here, and then you can edit them through here, or you can delete them through here, or whatever you might need to do. You can add new here, like we just did. You can look at your different categories that you have. You can add a new category, whatever you want it to be. Type in the name, and if there's a parent category, you can add it through here as well, and then just click add new category, and that will be there. Add a new tag. Can do the same thing here. Looking at popular tags down here, same thing that was found in the post page, you can just do it here as well. And if you want to reorder your blogs and what how they're coming up on your page, this is just dragging. So if you want to put this one down here, you can put it down here. But if you want to, however you might want to do that, is available through here, and it just automatically does it. There's no save button. It'll just do it for you. So if we go back to all posts and look at this post that we just made, let's say you don't like it, you want to get rid of it, we can delete it. So it's gone, but if you'll notice, it's up here. There's now a new category up here. So we've got published drafts, and now we have trash. So this is the post we just created, and if you wanted to restore it, we can do that, and now it's back in, it's back here because we published it. Or if you want to delete it for real, which we do because I just made it for this purpose, then we'll delete permanently. And we'll get rid of that. Okay, moving on to the next category over here on the left, we have media. This is where all the different photos that we have on the site are located. So you can click on them and see the size and dimensions, things like that. Usually you don't access media through here. As you saw when we were going through the posts, I could just add a featured image to the post once I was already there. So you're more likely going to do it through there. You're probably not going to add media through here, but you can see what you have here if you are curious, if you have 3 of the same picture or something like that. Or you can add media through here by dragging and dropping it or selecting it through there. Moving on to forms, you have a form here for people to contact you. Looks like you have 2 different forms, I guess, one on the contact page and one on the home page. Okay, so you have 2 different ones. So this is really easy to understand. It's pretty self-explanatory. And if you want to edit it, you can just click here. And if you if you just wanted first name, you could take that off, the last name. You could add middle name. I mean, it's just pretty self-explanatory. This is a required field. You can make it not required. So adding that's pretty easy. You can get more complicated through the forms if you want to create conditional logic. So if they click this, then it'll ask them another question. But you probably don't need that. And we can always help with that if you do end up having more questions. But these are pretty straightforward and pretty simple. So You can add if you wanted to ask a question. So you would just add something from over here, radio buttons. So you want to edit this, so you would say, is this your first time visiting? Okay, so if you do that, then you'd say yes, no, and then get rid of this because you don't need it. And then you've added that. And then you can, if you wanted to put that here, you just drag it to wherever you want to put it. And then you'd say update form. And then it should be different. So then you go to your contact page. Is this your first time to the site? Yes or no? And so then that just shows up right there. But we don't want that, so we'll just delete that and update the form and take it back to what you had. So those are the main parts there. You've got settings here. This will be helpful for if you're sending out a confirmation email to whoever is submitting a contact form. They are going to get this just generic, thanks for contacting, we'll get in touch with you shortly. Can edit this if you want to change it. Just change the message here to whatever you want using the same word processor kind of things here, bold, italics, you can do whatever. And then save confirmation, but we'll just leave that the same for now. And then notifications is where it's going to notify you. So right now this is notifying the admin to the website. So it's going to say new submission, and then you'll see that over here when you go to entries, and they'll show up here and you can see what everyone has said. So you can add a new form. It's just going to ask you for a title, and then create it. And then you just start by adding these things over here, advanced fields like name or whatever. And then you would just update form. That's like saving it. So then you can go through. Not going to need these things. I don't think. Mainly that's what you need to know about forms. But I'm going to go ahead and delete this because we don't need it. Okay, pages we'll talk about now. This is the parts of your site that are up here. So your about page, if you ever wanted to change this, once you've already logged in, and if you're looking at your site from the front end here, you can always hit edit and it'll take you to the page that you're looking for. Or you can come in here and click about, and this is going to take you to that page. And so if you wanted to change this, you can just type in something new, or you can change the title of this page if you wanted to say about me or whatever you wanted to change it to. And then again, you can go through here, bold things, add hyperlinks, change the size, add a list, whatever you would want to do here. And we have a featured image over here on the right. And if you wanted to change that image, you can come in here and do that the same way that we did before. You just click on something else and then set featured image. So we'll just leave that the same, but could come in here and change it to something else if you'd like. So those are all your pages. That's where all those are located. And if you want to add a new page, come in here, do the same thing. You can add a new page, and then it'll show up under here. You probably aren't going to use categories or tags for pages. And then once you get to a page, so we'll look at your contact page, you'll notice on your contact page you have a form located in your page. So the way that you do that is you type whatever you want to be at the top or the bottom or wherever you might want, the form. You would just come in here through here and add form, and it'll let you choose which one you want to use. contact, and then you will not want to display the form title or the form description most likely, and then insert form, and it's going to go ahead and put it in the code the way so that it shows up correctly. And it's just easy like that. Or if you want to add a picture within your page, not just a featured image over here, if you wanted to add a photo within the page, you'd go to Add Media, click on a picture, insert it into the page, and then once it's there, you can click on it. You can edit it. You could change the size if you'd like it to be smaller, like a square. You can do that. And you want it aligned to the center. Or if you want to you want it to link to someplace else, you can do that. But then you can also align it differently through here, however, left, right, or whatever. Or if you decide you don't want it, then you get rid of it. And those are the things you can do within your page. So if you ever, this is the code part. This is where, this is how you type in different things. If something were bolded, you would see what I was saying. So this is where the code is. So if you need to copy and paste something or change something, if you're confused, knowing that might be helpful. But mainly you're just going to be on this side fixing things and changing things. So we're not going to, and then once you make your changes, you just hit update, but we didn't make any changes, so we're good. If you, once you hit update, you can preview changes and see what it would look like here. And that's the main things that you can do through pages, and the main things that you need to know about. Moving on to homepage areas. This is where, on your homepage, you've got a slider here at the top and then a contact form. So you have two homepage areas, and that's why when you look here, there are two. So the slider is the top one, and we will talk about Revolution slider. That's further down here. We'll talk about that. And once you create it, then you will copy and paste this code here, and it shows up on your homepage area like that. So there's nothing we need to look at on this particular one. And then the second one is connect. This is where you've got your copy here, and then this is we added a form like how I showed you on the other page. So these kind of function similarly to the way a page would. They just show up in these blocks instead of as their own page. And so you can always add the form or change the form to a different form, change the text on here if you want to, change the size of the text, and you can add a new homepage area. This you probably aren't going to want to do because it's going to change the way the page is going to change the way your homepage looks. So you might need additional help with that, but for the most part, you're not going to want to do that because this is what you've got. This is what you like. But reorder, that's just putting them in a different order, kind of the same way the blogs work. Genesis is your theme for WordPress. Don't need to talk about anything there. The next thing of importance would be appearance. Want to talk about widgets. This is where on your home page you've got on the upper left hand corner the title of the site. This is created through Visual Editor. So if you ever wanted to change this to say something else, this is where you would change it. Probably, once again, not going to want to do that. But if you ever did, this is where it's located. Then we've got, this is where the menu is. So we've got a main navigation menu and a social media menu. Your main navigation here and social down here. So that's where that's located. This is just how we get the homepage areas to appear, those two areas on your homepage. You're not going to want to change that. And then the only other one you have is that custom menu for the social media. So if you ever wanted to add a different menu, you've got another menu you want to add. You want to add it under header right above this menu. You wouldn't really want to do that, but you could do that, and then it'll show up right there. You select which one you want, and then hit save. And then if you want it to be above this menu, you just drag it, and there it is. And so then that's going to show up, but you don't want to do that, so we'll just delete that. But this is where the site gets its shape, kind of. So this is where everything's located. You're probably not going to want to change many things in here, but that's just so that you know. Menus, you may want to change if you want to add another page at some point. So right now, these are your main pages that you've got in the upper right hand corner. So if you wanted to change the order, you would just drag it like this and then hit save. You can also make sub menu items. So if you wanted to be able to hover over this menu item and have another one come up, then you would just take it in like that and then like that. So then you could have different sub menu items, but right now they're all the same. So, but that's fairly easy. And then, so if you ever do create a new page in there, and you come in, create a new page, it's going to show up over here. And then you can just click it, add it to your menu. And let's say you want to put this under contact, then you just put it there, and it's already got everything in there. And so then if you want to get rid of it, we'll just remove it. Or if you want to add a direct link to one of your posts, you can do that here. Or if you want to add a custom link to someplace outside of your site, you can do that. And then say add to menu, and it's just going to come up, and then we'll save it and we'll look at it real quick. So we'll come over here, I'll refresh this, and then now you've got this. It's going to take you to Google. So that's pretty easy to understand. So we'll go ahead and remove that because you don't need that, and then save it again. You're not going to want to do anything with any of these other items here. Plugins, that's what we talked about earlier, needing updated. But again, you don't need to do that because we'll take care of it. So there's really nothing here that you're going to want to worry about. These are just what makes your site run. And if you want to add plugins, you can always do that. But you may want to ask for help or an opinion on which ones are better for certain things. So you're always welcome to do that. Users, that's where the admins are located. So if you come in here, we've got your name, and your username is here. So that's what you use to log in. And then this is also where you should be able to change your password. So let's see if we want to go here. There it is, new password. Can generate a password. I guess maybe we haven't created one for you yet or not. I'm not sure. But you can generate a password, and then it'll give you one, and you'll update the user. Yeah, okay, you're set as a subscriber, not an administrator. So that's why we'll need to change that, and we'll get you a password. But that's where you can change your password later if we are just going to generate one, and then you can change it to something else. And then this is also where you would add a new person if you wanted to make another admin on the website, if you start to share with someone else, which you're probably not going to do. Or this is also where you're going to add a new author. So if you ever are creating a blog post that's not authored by you, you're going to need to create a username, and it requires that you put an email in there, and then you're gonna it doesn't matter because they're not gonna send an email if you uncheck this button. It doesn't matter what you put in here, but you do have to put something in there, and then you would put the name. Don't have to put a website, and then you're gonna make them an author. I'm not sure what that's about. I will figure that out, but this should be pretty self-explanatory. You're going to create them as an author, and then they will show up when you create a new post. That's where you've got an author on your posts, or maybe you don't. That's why. Okay, so maybe you don't add authors because you're the only one posting on here. Okay, but that's where you will change your password when we make you an administrator on this site. Tools, you're not going to need anything here. Settings, nothing here. Yeah, I don't think so. Duplicator, that's what we use to launch. We'll delete that. Slider revolution is another thing that you use on your site. It's what's creating this at the top, this slideshow here. So we'll go through a few things on Slider Revolution. You're probably not going to want to change too much here, but in case you do, you can look at each slide in particular up here, and then if you scroll down, this is where it shows you what it looks like. So if you ever want to get rid of one of these, you can either delete it, or if you just want it to not show up for a while and only have two, you think 3 is too many, then you can just click this red little symbol here, and then hit save, and it's going to not show up anymore. And then if you change your mind and want it back, just do the little green check mark. So you can always add a blank slide if you want to add one. Add a new slide and start from scratch. Then you would pick a main background image. So you pick an image from your media library. Whatever you have in here is going to show up. So you'll pick something here. And then you want to add a layer because you want to add some sort of words or something. So we'll add text. I'm going to say, check mark that. And then over here you can come change your font or whatever you want it to be. You can type in, you can type in any font that you can look up fonts on Google Fonts and type in whatever you want. And then can change the font size here. Say you want it to be really big. Then you also want to change the line height here so that these lines here are the same size, and then change the font weight, change the font color by changing it to whatever you want. Center the text. Can move it around, and this tells you kind of, okay, it's not centered anymore. You can give it a background. Let's say you want a white background. You want some padding on all sides of the white background so that it looks like that. You can add a picture to here, so it's going to be really big. So you want to this is so big. Want to make it smaller. You want to hold down the shift button so that you don't distort the image, but make it way smaller. And then, sorry, this is taking forever. Come up here and you can do the same thing. So center it up. And so now you see when you go here, you can see which layer you're dealing with. So you can edit it through here, click there, and come back and see, oh, no, I want to edit this. If you kind of get confused which layer's which, if you start getting more and more things, you can you can also link to things on this page, or link to things on a slider if you want to say, like, learn more, and click, you're advertising about something you're selling or something, learn more here, and then you're going to do a simple link, and then you can copy and paste the link here. And you're creating whatever item you're highlighted a link out of. And then you can also animate these layers. So looks like you don't have that currently on your site, but by clicking on one of these, you're gonna do okay, so see how it is showing you what it's gonna do. So then you'll come down here, and this is your timeline. So it tells you which layer. You've got the name layer and the picture layer, and then this is how long it takes for that slide in and out to occur. So you can stretch this out. You can move this over. So then if you want them to be like kind of staggered, you'd move this over this way, and then hit save, and then you can hit play, and I'll show you what it would look like. So just like that. And if you want to look at it again, if you want to change it a little bit, then go back to the beginning and play it again so that you can see it. And your site is designed to be responsive to different sized screens. So if you fix everything and it looks the way you want it on here, then you hit save. Then you've got to go through each layer and make sure that it fits on each layer or on each screen size. So then you go through, okay, well, I want this to be a little higher up, or I want to move this over, or whatever. If it's not looking right, or you need to make it smaller, then you would change it for each layer. But everything kind of looked okay on this one. So then you just hit save. And then you can, once you hit save, you have to hit save before you can preview it here with this little microscope or whatever that's called. And, but you have to hit save before you can preview it. And so then it'll show you how it's going to look on each screen size and see if that looks the way that you want it to. So, and you've got the background, if you'll see on your site how it kind of zooms in and out, that's changed here under Ken Burns. You just change this from 105 to 100. You could do from 100 to 110. You could look at what's already on these other slides. So, and then if you want to rearrange the slides, it's just kind of just a drag and drop thing. And then, so if you wanted to edit any of these items, it all functions the same way. You can come in, you could change the background image by uploading a new picture or choosing a different picture that you already have, choosing that, and then you can see what layers you have going on here. So right now we just have the one layer. So you can click on that, and then if you wanted to edit what it says, this is where you'd edit it. If you want to edit, any of the colors or the font sizes or the font weight or any of those things, you just do how I've already showed you. And then you would hit save. And there are some things in general settings that you can change. I don't know that you're going to want to, but then go to slider settings, and this is where you get the short code. So you would copy that, and then if you wanted to add, I want to add this this slider to a new page, so you would copy it and then paste it into a page. So if you wanted to add that slider, not to a page, if you want to add it to your homepage areas, you've got the slider homepage area, and then you would paste it here. That's what you have going on there. And Google Map, WP Google Map, you're not currently using, but if you ever wanted to, we can show you how. I'm not going to go through that all right now, but don't need any of these other things over here either. So we'll set you up as an admin, and then you'll be ready to go. But that should give you the main things that you need to know. But we're always happy to help. You can contact David or Kenny, or me eventually, Becca, and then we'll get you the help that you might need. But this should get you a good start. So hope that is helpful and you get everything you need.